This is Techie and the Biz, a podcast to explain and simplify how business technology is changing and why it can benefit your organization.
5 years ago, MetTel changed how enterprises manage mobile devices with the introduction of its Mobile Device as a Service offering, or MDAS. Ever since, customers have been asking the same question: what about our laptops? Well, the wait is over. MetTel's Connected Laptop as a Service, CLaaS, is officially here. And joining us to break it all down is Andrew Tynan, AVP of Product Architecture, Application, and Operations at MetTel, and the man behind the program. Welcome, Andrew.
Welcome.
Thank you, Max. Thank you, Erica. It is great to be with you today.
Awesome. Well, Andrew, to start us off, tell us where you're from and what got you into this line of work.
Max, can't you tell from my accent that I'm from Brooklyn?
I was thinking Staten Island, but please do share.
I moved to New York 10 years ago from Brisbane, Australia, and came here chasing a dream to live in the big city and have, of course, loved my time here and have spent the last 12 months with MetTel, helping to bring to life all kinds of new features and solutions and programs for our customers.
Great. How does MetTel's Connected Laptop as a Service address a gap in the market today?
Well, let me help you understand how we think about enterprises and some of the challenges that they have. And we know from the 5 years of running a mobile device as a service program that one of the core challenges they face is the fragmentation of their IT programs. They're working with multiple OEMs to buy devices. They're working with multiple carriers to activate those devices. They've got one, or in some cases, many mobile device management solutions that allow them to manage those devices. MetTel and our Connected Laptop as a Service program is designed to bring all of those components together under one roof and make it really easy for our customers to manage their laptops for their employees at scale.
A significant feature of this service is single SIM, allowing for secure, uninterrupted connectivity for data-only devices. For those not so familiar with why this is so significant, can you explain single SIM?
I sure can. And I think that to explain it, I'd like to, again, help you understand why it's relevant to a laptop. And we know from the data that employees are working outside of the security of a firewall or an office. We know that employees like Max are always on the road, meeting with customers, attending conferences, on the job site, working in different locations. Those employees need to have a connectivity option on the laptop. Historically, we've seen employees use a mobile, a very, unreliable connectivity option, connecting through personal hotspots. We've also seen employees use a third-party device like a MiFi, which MetTel does know and love and has many customers using today. Ultimately, what MetTel is allowing our customers to do through single SIM is connecting their laptops and allowing those employees to work wherever they are. Now, MetTel Single SIM, our proprietary product, something which hundreds of customers are using and supporting hundreds of thousands of employees across the US today, is designed to allow employees to get the best possible connectivity, the best possible signal and service, no matter where they are. It does this through multi-carrier capabilities. And I liken this to, as I'm working from the New York office, I'll typically be using AT&T service. As I head out to Salt Lake City to catch up with some of my colleagues in the Salt Lake City office, I might switch over to Verizon. And so the multi-carrier capabilities of MetTel Single SIM is really designed to pick up the best possible service, the best possible signal. And so going back to that employee who is traveling, who is on the road, who is meeting clients, it's going to allow them to get the best possible service no matter where they are.
Yeah, and I actually experienced it, for over a year now as we've been in testing, and it's funny. The number one question or comment I get when I join video calls. Everyone asks me how to get that background that looks interactive, almost like I'm, in the back of a car being driven somewhere. And I'm always like, oh no, I'm actually on single sim right now on my laptop in the back of an Uber. So it really does change, how you work. And from a productivity perspective, it's really a game changer.
It seems like a no-brainer. It seems like every company using data should be operating on a single SIM,
Yeah, without a doubt.
right?
Without
That way, employees don't have to do like what we always talked about, using some unsecure public network to connect.
Yeah, at the Starbucks or the airport. That's right. Our listeners already know public networks are, how would
Yes.
you say in Australia, Andrew, shonky or rubbish?
like that, Max, something like that. And it's really interesting because, you might be thinking as you're attending, say, a conference in Las Vegas that the, MGM Grand Wi-Fi is a secure network. Fundamentally, it's not. And I think Max, you've encouraged this. You've experienced this problem when you were going to one of the conferences recently, and it wouldn't allow you to connect to this network because it wasn't secure. So now we're giving a different option. Now we're allowing employees to avoid the need to think about that unsecure Wi-Fi, that unsecure network. And I know our CISO and all the customers that are using our connected laptops love that because it's just one less thing they have to think about in their overall security posture and security program.
Does this eliminate dealing directly with the carriers?
Well, MetTel allows our customers to avoid the need to engage the carriers. I spoke earlier about the challenges that every enterprise faces, and that is fragmentation. With MetTel, we manage those relationships. We manage how you are getting access to either Verizon, AT&T, T-Mo, or when I traveled down to Australia for Christmas last year, I connected to Telstra, and it did that automatically without me even having to click a button, change the network. It automatically rolls over to those services. So yes, we are allowing our customers to not think about that relationship, not think about that automatic switching in real time.
That's a really great benefit. Uh, from a buyer's perspective, Andrew, what are the benefits of CLaaS from MetTel, and what differentiates it from some of the more traditional ways that companies typically buy laptops?
This is a great question. And I think that MetTel, we're so confident about our device as a service program. And we have adopted that same framework, that same methodology to our connected laptop offering. One of the core values and one of the core components of our device as a service program is that our customers are buying in an OpEx capacity. Now, why this is important is for different stakeholders. The CFO, every year when the IT team says to him, we need to buy another 5,000, another 10,000 laptops, it's going to cost you $10 million. The CFO has a heart attack. With MetTel, we're saying, don't worry about buying things outright. You can buy things as a service and have a reliable and predictable cost month over month for the lifetime of your agreement or your engagement with MetTel, which takes that $10 million price tag and puts it into a much easier, much simpler model for them to consume. For the IT manager, that also allows them to have a more predictable refresh program. We've seen so many examples of customers who've got some teams have got a 5-year-old device. Some teams have got a 3-year-old device. They don't know where they don't know where they are on the life cycle. With MetTel and our connected laptop as a service program, we establish a really clear and a really consistent refresh program so that after 3 years, you know that John Smith is going to get a brand new device. He's going to get the best possible device he can at that time. And that program and that refresh cycle can be much easier to manage for the IT folks.
You're eliminating the need for a huge cash outlay. You're turning it into a monthly subscription, essentially as a service. But what happens if, and this is just a what if, example. If someone spilled coffee on their laptop and it's no longer turning on, how does the program adjust when those types of occurrences happen?
In fact, I will give you something which happened to me only a few weeks ago. In New York, the folks will know that we've had an unreasonably cold and icy winter. I was I was walking to the ferry, and did slip over on the ice. Yes, people were laughing at me. Laptop went flying onto the road, and sustained damage. And what did I do? I reached out to MetTel via the Bruin portal. I said, laptop is damaged. I need a new one. MetTel, same day, ships me a device. Before 2 p.m., that device will go out so that I receive that device the next day. And I was able to immediately get back to what I needed to do and get back to my job. And that is a really unique proposition that MetTel provides customers. We're not going to Dell and Lenovo and having to rearrange another purchase order. We're not speaking to someone in the IT team who's then going to have to swivel chair that task to somebody else. Immediately, we were able to fulfill a same-day replacement for that device. Now, MetTel, on the other side, we take that device and we fulfill the necessary actions that we needed to get that device back to repair and back to operational status. In my event, I think they probably had to replace some of the kind of exterior shell on the laptop itself. And then that device went back into our warehouse capabilities to be reused by another employee like new. We go through that repair process, we go through the refurbishment, we go through some of the secure wipe, some of the secure device, some of the secure data destruction to get that device back to operational status for somebody else.
Wow. Wow, that's great.
I'm glad
Take the burden off.
I'm glad you're okay as well.
My pride, Erica.
I was hurt.
Physically, I was okay.
Oh my goodness. What is a typical time frame for customers from service request to the onboarding of the service?
One of the things which we've also released over the last 6 months has been some really exciting integration capabilities. And I want to touch on that very quickly because when we talk about employee onboarding, we are taking what has historically been for some customers weeks and condense that down into a matter of days or even in some cases hours. And how we do that, we connect directly to a customer's HR system. So if a customer is using Workday or if they're using HR systems like Bamboo or Paychex or Paylocity, we're going directly to the source so that when there is a new employee added in that software, MetTel knows, and we can automatically start to fulfill an onboarding activity for that employee. That onboarding activity might include equipping them with a laptop, obviously making sure that laptop is connected. It also can include enrolling that device into the customer's preferred MDM system, like Intune, which we know many enterprise customers are using today. And it does that without someone even needing to press a button or without someone even needing to put a ticket in or without someone needing to send an email to MetTel or their IT team. We're doing that through full automation from end to end. So if we have an employee that was starting in 48 hours, we could get them a laptop and that laptop will be ready on day one with all the tools, all the applications, the connectivity option attached, ready for them to be productive and ready for them to rock and roll.
Wow, that's a real game changer for sure. I know most companies don't have that kind of turnaround time. When I first joined Metal a long time ago, it was a lightning fast 2.5 weeks. So 48 hours sounds really, really good, and I think it's a common problem. Just to expand a little bit about, you talked about integration. How has Metal replicated some of its MDAS device provisioning experience to simplify how laptops are getting deployed and enrolled in the customer's environment, to have them ready to go when users get them?
It's a great question, Max, because a laptop or a mobile phone is great, unless that laptop or mobile phone has the tools that that employee needs, what is someone going to do with it? So, in our provisioning process, we are allowing our customers to automatically enroll that laptop into their MDM. Now, for many customers, that's MetTel's preferred MDM. We use best-in-class solution, Scale Fusion. For many customers who are using Intune, we can automatically enroll and automatically provision that device into Intune through Autopilot. Again, lots of magic behind the scenes that allows us to do this through automation. But for the customer, at the end of the day, what that means is when the employee opens that laptop, it is provisioned with the applications they need to be successful. There may be some security policies or security profiles that the CISO has put onto all devices. There may also be some department-specific profiles or department-specific applications, which again, we can provision automatically depending on the role or profile or user that's getting that laptop. And all of that is done, via our warehouse, via, the processes that we built so that we can enroll and we can get that specific laptop, the serial number, make sure that it's connected into the right systems. And we do that by, in a couple of different ways, Max. We establish a handshake, what they call a handshake agreement into, the customer's MDN tenant, like Intune. We get a really clear understanding of what the profiles need to be deployed so that, again, it's just one less step that an IT team is typically performing today. And they're doing that manually. They're taking a device, they're opening it up, they're, logging on and going through the steps to, enroll the MDM tenant, to get some of those profiles activated. That's time. I think, Max, we had a conversation with a customer last week and they said they're spending upwards of 8 hours on one device.
Yeah, so it's definitely a better way as we do.
There's definitely a better way. And if you're doing that thousands of times a year, you can start to see just how quickly, that can become such a burden for IT teams.
Andrew, for newer, smaller companies, is there a minimum number of devices to get this service?
This is a great question. And actually, Max, I don't know if I'm even sure what our policy is on this.
I could help you with the policy. We'd like to keep a minimum of 25. Again, just because that's an environment that we're enrolling in. We find most customers want to start with about 100. So it doesn't have to be thousands or tens of thousands, but certainly you want to probably start with more than one.
Yeah. And let me add another point to that. We know that customers aren't refreshing every device at the same time. So what we've seen for our customers is they may start with an order as small as 10, but that order of 10 is happening every week or every month, slowly, so as to refresh, the devices within the company over a, agreed upon time frame. And the beauty of MetTel and the Bruin portal, Erica, is that customers can in fact go in and just buy one. And they can do that without speaking to anyone. They can do that, based on any last minute requirements that they have, because we know that customers do want those self-service capabilities. We know that customers have a one-off request that they need to fulfill for whatever reason. So our new checkout and shopping cart experience is proven to be so successful in allowing our customers just to have those quick transactions as they need along the way.
Yeah, it's such a great experience, in fact. And I know that Andrew knows this, that when we turn the feature on, without telling anyone about it, we got a few orders.
Really?
The customers just went in and clicked. They were like, "Oh, this feature's available now." So they clicked and bought laptops.
That's great.
So definitely something that's out there. Definitely that's a need. What, Andrew, when placing an order, do all devices, for example, the Dell or the Lenovo laptop models, do they all have to be the same, or can they be sorted based on a specific user type within the company?
The reality is, um, most enterprises have different laptop classes to meet the different requirements of that employee. So, we want to make sure that the executives have not just a high-powered device, but also a lightweight device. They're on the road, they're traveling, they're carrying things around all the time. So we built a program, Max, which allows us to fulfill different laptop requirements for the different personas that exist within an organization. We love our SDRs, we love our sales team, but they're probably going to get a device on the lower price scale. Engineers, however, they need all the AI capabilities. They need a bigger screen to do what they're doing. So we have much more powerful specifications on the laptops for the engineers, or what we call a power user. So there are different scales of laptops that are available. And of course, they also have different price points, which is another important consideration for our customers, Max, because a lot of organizations are price sensitive, which we understand and we want to work with. And so we've got different options that we believe can meet different requirements for those employees.
Max, Laptop as a Service is a newer service that MetTel has been offering. So, how do you reassure customers, aside from your obvious charm, how do you reassure customers that they're in good hands when choosing this program?
Yeah, I think that's an important question because it is a new program, but it really is an addition from a product perspective to our MDAS program. And I remind customers, we have millions of subscribers and users over 14 years in this mobile business. Andrew highlighted some of the infrastructure capabilities, the smart warehouse, our automation, our integration, all that stays the same. So you really are using that infrastructure, you're using that background, you're using that success, and just adding a product that's been really something that we've heard for many, many years now since launching MDAS, where customers said, well, can you just add this component? Because most of my employees that you're shipping a smartphone or tablet to today typically also need a laptop. So really using a lot of that experience and just layering on with this great new product offering.
We have a deep bench of support resources. And those support resources obviously have had, years of experience in MetTel, but beyond that, I'm sure many more, of providing best-in-class technology support for our customers. So it was a very easy and very natural evolution to get that team trained up on the laptop offering, and to get folks in the warehouse trained up on, let's take the tens of thousands of repairs we're doing in mobile phones and translate that same program to laptops. So it's been a really fun exercise for us and for the folks that are providing day two support to get them really trained up and knowledgeable on this new offering.
What is the typical term of service?
To answer this question, Erica, we have to think about the refresh lifecycle. And historically, we've seen a refresh lifecycle for laptops be around 4 years. In some cases, we've seen some organizations have a 5-year refresh cycle. We know that can't exist anymore. And the reason why is a device that's 4 or 5 years old doesn't have the AI capabilities that everyone needs to be productive in the 21st century. We know that in 12 months' time, Dell and Lenovo, they're going to have even more comprehensive, even more capable devices than what we have today. So our recommendation to customers is to adopt a 3-year refresh program. And part of the reason why we say that is, one, in 3 years, we're going to get you the best possible device. Two, there's not going to be a significant financial outlay because you're using the OPEX model, which just means that monthly equipment price that you're being paying will continue. And three, it really allows those employees to harness the best possible technology, and do so in a way that isn't going to freak out the CFO every time that he or she gets the ask from the IT team.
It seems like a solution that solves many problems in data device management. Max, you speak with customers new and existing pretty much every day. So, why is this impactful now compared to any other time over the last 14 years of the mobile business?
So I think there's two things happening right now, and I think it's really important because whether you're a customer and you're trying to solve for this problem, or you're a distributor listening to this and thinking like, is this a good time for me to engage with my customers? The first is, if you look at when the last really big uh, acquisition of laptops was done, it was done around kind of like the end of COVID, so about 4 or 5 years ago at this point. So there is a 4 to 5 year refresh cycle that's been coming up. And Andrew mentioned it with, our typical term of service being 3 years, because we now want to, adjust how customers buy to give them more relevant laptops that actually have things like AI capabilities or the ability to support a lot of new AI applications. So that refresh cycle is coming due. So there's a lot of demand for people out there looking for something different. And the other one is, there is a global memory shortage right now because of AI.
Mm.
So that shortage has forced a lot of companies to rethink how companies are going to buy and deploy laptops. So those two things together really make this the perfect storm and the perfect opportunity to really look at adjusting the buy model from a CapEx to an OpEx and looking at that 3 year refresh cycle.
Max, if I could add to that, one of the things that we're seeing in the industry is because of the shortages, and because of what's happening in the world of AI, pricing is fluctuating at a rate which is, for many enterprises, hard to get a grasp on. And I think this is a really important conversation, because we want to make it as easy as possible for customers to get and lock in the best prices for the equipment. And we know that in 12 months' time, it's going to be very different. And so I think that, we've designed the program to allow customers to get that guarantee, and secondly, to get the availability. I think the lead times for the OEMs are blowing out, but with MetTel, we manage that. We have the inventory. We know what devices customers are using. We can fulfill those, procurements and provisionings much more effectively than a customer going directly to the OEM.
All right. Well, that was great. And that brings us to
Game
time. All right. Well, this is where we play a little game to get to know you better. It's called This or That. I will give you two options, and you just choose the one that best describes you. Before we get to that, I know that everyone who's been listening, definitely, if they don't know already where you're from, you don't have a New York accent. So, Australia, wow, that's pretty amazing. And I can't believe that we've never been anywhere close, Max, right? It's like my dream to go. Hint, hint. That
I
was-
got you.
But as I was preparing for this whole conversation today, I kept thinking of that 80s song, Men at Work, Down Under. Do you remember? Max, you were like in college when this song.
Oh, yeah. Do you come from the land down under?
Yes.
What is it like? Where women glow and men plunder. What is that?
I don't know. What is I think plundering is like to rob someone. So
That's right. Exactly.
we're just like that. I don't even know. But it was a good
I
tune.
know, all these years.
And now it's probably going to be in your head. Do you hear that song? Do people sing that to you all the time?
All the time, all the time. And one of the famous lines is where they eat a Vegemite sandwich, and you'll be very pleased to know that I do, in fact, still eat a Vegemite sandwich. Vegemite is Australia's very famous, very salty spread, which you get kind of indoctrinated into loving from birth. So every household in Australia has a jar of Vegemite in the fridge. And now my household in New York also has a jar of Vegemite in the
Oh, really? I was going to say there has to be somewhere you can get that in New York.
Amazon.com. It's very.
Oh, there you go. It always comes through.
Yes.
All right. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Text or call?
Text.
Walk or run?
Walk.
American football or rugby?
Rugby all day.
You played rugby, right?
I did play rugby for almost 20 years, Erica. And
Wow.
whilst I'd love to still be out there on the pitch, my shoulders aren't as strong as they used to be.
What position were you
I
in?
was in the front row actually.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was really in the middle of it all.
Oh my God. So teeth or no teeth? I'm just kidding. That was a little bit all silly rugby joke. But our boys play lacrosse and it's intense. And I can't even imagine they have pads. Rugby, there's no pads, right?
No pads, no helmets. Yes, the injuries are often and many.
Wow. Oh my gosh. Okay. North Queensland Cowboys or the Newcastle Knights? Talk on that.
I'm actually going to add a second one or the third one and say Brisbane Broncos.
Oh, okay.
You are the reigning champions.
All right.
So Brisbane Broncos all the way.
Nice. All right. Beach or pool?
Beach.
Cash or credit?
Well, I love in New York. You've always got to have a wad of 20s, a wad of 5s, and a wad of 1s because you never know who's going to leave some of those dollars.
That's right.
Book or movie?
Book.
Dog or cat?
Dog.
Kangaroo or koala?
Oh, that's a tough one. Do you know, Erica, that kangaroo meat is just like Vegemite? Often found in Australian households.
Really?
Very high in protein, low in fat. So anyone that's trying to gain a few pounds at the gym or lose a few pounds at the gym loves the kangaroo meat. So for that reason, I'll say koala.
Oh my God. I was going to just say it's just cute. Uber or Lyft?
A lift.
Super strength or super speed?
Ooh. Oh, I would say super strength.
Okay. Get over it or get even?
Get even.
Nice. Yay.
That's a good one.
So in a fight, who wins? Russell Crowe as the gladiator or Chris Hemsworth as Thor? Both Australian actors, by the way.
Both Australian actors. I mean, Thor has that magical hammer, which I think conjures lightning. So theoretically, we should say Thor. But Russell Crowe and Gladiator is one of my favorite movies, and Maximus Decimus Aurelius, one of the all-time favorites. So maybe I'll go towards Russell Crowe.
Max's favorite movie as well.
I love it. I love it.
But we could be watching something and I get up to go do something else and I come right back and it's on. Like, I don't even know how he finds it. And he sits and he stares at the TV like he doesn't know what's going to happen next. Like he's literally watching the screen like he's never seen this movie before. Right?
And then she looks at me and I just look at her and I say, "My name is Maximus Decimus,
Favorite
actor of the armies of the North." It's just like you, Eric. Bravo.
Yes. Yeah. So true. Touche. Yes. Yep. Okay. Sunrise or sunset?
Oh, I would love to say that I'm the kind of person that gets up to sunrise, but I'd be lying. So I will say nothing beats a cocktail at sunset on the beach. So let's go with that.
It sounds really nice. Thongs or sneakers?
Erica, that seems a bit personal.
Oh, no. I'm just bringing in like the Australian. Thongs are what we call here in the States flip-flops, right?
That's right. I love it, Erica.
Listen, your undies are your business, right? Like
You know what? In Australia, actually, people very rarely wear shoes.
Oh.
You'll be in the supermarket. You'll find people who come straight from the beach into the supermarket, not wearing any shoes. They'll be at the petrol station, not wearing any shoes. So thumbs, I would say, is maybe the next best after that. So,
iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
Have no Wi-Fi or have no cellular network?
Ooh. Well, in the world of MetTel, that isn't even a great answer. No response.
Okay. Snorkel or scuba?
Ooh, scuba diving. Love scuba diving. I was in Fiji last year, scuba diving in Fiji. Had a great time. I think the next destination for me, Erica, is likely Belize, where I hear there's some great diving. It's a Max, Erica, is there any diving off Long Beach?
No.
No? Okay.
I mean, yeah, you could dive. I don't think you're actually going to see any.
You may not see very much, but you guys had that in Australia. You have the Great Barrier Reef, right? So I feel like you must be born into that as well. Just going out in the water.
Do feel so lucky to have such a beautiful natural wonder of the world right on my doorstep, and certainly was able to make the most of it while I was back in Australia. And it has been a few years, but it ain't leaving just yet, and I'm looking forward to getting back down there and checking it out.
Yeah, I feel like that's the one living thing that you can see from outer space is the Great Barrier Reef.
Really? I actually
Yes.
didn't know that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Good. Yeah.
Huh.
I know it sounds like it must be magnificent. So
Well, when you come down, I'll take you out. I'll take you to my favorite spots. It sounds like there's a trip brewing. So Zach,
yes, there are.
Eric,
I'm usually the last to find out about it, but yes, I'll take this.
We'll talk later, Andrew. Travel back in time or travel into the future?
Oh, I think that Max's answer might be the same as mine. We're very much at the forefront of technology. We love to know what's coming next. So I think I'd say travel to the future.
100%.
Yeah. And then bring back a couple of fun stuff for us to,
That's
nice.
why.
yeah.
Be a moment that amazes or a memory that lingers.
Ooh. I think that a moment that amazes, it can just bring you such joy at that time. So wouldn't that then become a memory that lingers? Can you have one without the other?
Wow, that's so
Very thoughtful. Yeah, very
Yes.
thoughtful.
well. That is I like that, and that's the game. So thank you so much, and thank you for talking to us.
Thank you, Erica. That was a fun game. It was such a pleasure to be here today, and ready to get you down under. We'll go scuba diving, and we'll make sure we have a connected laptop so Max can still work.
Yes.
And the fun, can't stop all the work in between.
Perfect. It sounds perfect.
If you want to learn more about MetTel's connected laptop as a service or anything else, please go to mettel.net or contact your MetTel sales representative.